Oh, righty, everyone. That was an awkward start to this. Cool, cool. Um, yeah, we're gonna do day 2 of the electric boogaloo. I have no shame in that bit either. I'm not 100% done getting my streaming bullshit set up, so I can't even see chat right now. I'm so upset the Twitch desktop app doesn't work. I know I can make a desktop shortcut. Oh, shut up. I know it has like some way of making a desktop shortcut straight to the website, but I am far too lazy to figure that out right now. Alright. Also, I am uploading streams to my YouTube. It's the same thing as my gamer tag, so that's a fun thing. Alright, I'm very smart. I'm messing with some settings because upon watching like some of the old some of the footage from yesterday, the game was very loud in comparison to my voice, especially like when doing the Kuva Brahma stuff. And the quality dropped down when shit hit the fan. So I fucked with some shit, and we're gonna move on to day 2 of this madness, and it's the learning process. We're gonna get right into it with the tenant tetra. This I don't remember doing this. What is this build? Oh, I guess, hold on. What is my tenant tetra, by the way, is a 55% heat tetra. Maybe I did this at the end of last stream and I'm just insane and don't remember. But we got probably too much going on here. Let me... What is this? What's the fire rate? Oh, fuck, that is low as shit. I know when this I know when this gun first came out, it was like the giant nuke that everyone gave a shit about. So maybe that giant nuke is still like, I know it got nerfed-ish. Before it didn't have fall off. And then like a few weeks after the gun was in, they added in fall off. Let's go see how this one does, though. We're going to get into like one of my main weapons and then immediately after one of my favorite weapons. And hopefully we can get through all the tenant weapons today. Because I don't plan a super long stream. We don't want Nacha. We're gonna take Inaros. I think probably maybe moving forward, Inaros might be my go-to unless I get really don't want to deal with things and I pull out Mesa. I am once again arbitrarily changing the arbitrary rules of my arbitrary challenge. Hey look, an Arbiter's a Hexa Spy. Isn't it nice when things just work out that way.
Accept your death, and you may yet avoid it. Trust in your training.
I mean, before getting ramped up, it's doing this kind of damage. That's not bad. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Alright. I am remembering how the toucher works. It's a cool sound, though. Like, it really is a cool sound. I don't know how affected by multi-shot that is, because it, like, personally doesn't feel like the gun is triggering a lot of slash procs. I mean, maybe it is, and I don't know. Now, the fact that, once again, this is something that uses the entire magazine, and requires a full magazine is kind of annoying. Because that means I can't just clear out, like, I can't, like, focus fire down one strong enemy, and then, oh, that's funny. That's my phone interrupting the stream to tell me that I'm streaming. Cool. Yeah, it would be nice if I could, like, focus fire that guy down, and then, like, swap, and with whatever ammo I have left, fire this off, to deal with, like, the fox. I feel like that would be a really fun gameplay loop. Well, that was... And, like, I know that's 100% something that they've coded in before, because that's the way the Catabalist works. The Catabalist, its reload is a grenade, and it's similar to, like, TDR weapons in Borderlands. The more ammo you have in the mag when you reload, the more damage the explosion does. So, like, a way some people use the Catabalist is just reload after reload after reload. Where is it telling me to go? There it goes. And you do get, like, just big explosions all the time. You can see I'm kind of trying to do that with this, where I'm, like, switching to either, like, finish off guys that it's silly to waste an entire explosion on. This is definitely a weapon that I might want to add.
Clone rot has gone too far. Send word.
Ammo on it. Because for a single target weapon, it's not doing terrible. But it's definitely, like, cleaning up some ammo, you know? An amount that I don't think carrier can really counter. I don't want to click on. I think Big Boy here is going to tear through this group. Let's find out. One shot took down all of his shields. The second shot did that to him. He is dead. That did very good on Misery. In a lot of ways, this gun does remind me of the, like, of an automatic, like, assault rifle version of the Kuvazar. Just, you know, as I kind of, like, fire it and use it. Because you can see the similarities. You know, you have, at least in, like, the design, where you have, like, the semi-auto mode, which is, you know, a grenade AoE for dealing with groups. And then you have the single fire mode for dealing with, like, maybe not as good at dealing with hard targets as the Zars is, but definitely nice at it, you know. Fortunately, that secondary is chewing through my ammo. Might even have to use an ammo pad. Just gonna let these guys attach. If you roll, it gets rid of those like little bomb guys, and they can definitely stack some serious damage onto you at higher levels. I find if they're being extra annoying and you can afford to just stand still, let them attach, and then roll to get them off of you, and it will, I'm aiming terribly, and it will like just be the easiest, least headache way to get rid of them. I wonder how punch through would do on this weapon, because like historically punch through on, and honestly more specifically prime shred, because historically punch through on explosive weapons has been a bad thing, because the projectile will like bug out and go through the floor, or like it will have a bad time essentially. It'll go through enemies and not explode on impact, so you'll fire it down a hall and it will go through all of the enemies in the hall, doing the projectiles damage. But when it finally explodes, it is like it's like way the fuck down the other end of the hall and not doing any real damage. Yeah, I think we're gonna try this with Prime Shred.
You have broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission. Find extraction.
I'm just trying to be all like Julio and dip and duck through this room without like looking, and I keep just walking into walls like an idiot. It's what you get for trying to pretend to be cool, kids.
They fought well. Good deaths, all.
I know there's nobody here to answer these questions, but I send this to YouTube anyways. How are you all doing? How's the masses that aren't going to watch my video or stream doing? I hope you're all doing well. Unless you're an awful person, and then I hope you're doing awfully because you're an awful person. Seems fair, right? First we're gonna do this one, and then we're gonna do, actually we don't need to do that, and then we're gonna do that one. My heat is dramatically reduced, but at this point I'm just using heat to strip armor. It's not going to be a viable source of damage. But the hope is that Prime Shred and Kinetic Ricochet combined, it will like slice through enemies in a very entertaining way. Because at this point, I think for the Tenet Tetra specifically, I'm not going to go for, like, the most powerful build. I think I'm going to go for something that, like, you could take to Star Chart and
each enemy is
have
more
fun.
Powerful than before. Only with true
Especially,
mastery of the Tenno arsenal will
oh
you
yeah, look at that
succeed.
fire rate, too. Come here, you. No survivors. Where are you going? Honestly, I think this build is working out pretty well. You can actually even see, I think Ricochet might have had a hand in killing both of them. Yeah, I'm doing a lot more damage, and honestly, this gun feels a lot better with Shred. At least Prime Shred. Which I do realize is a login day reward, and not everyone's going to have it, but, you know. Personally, I'm going to say I like this build better. Let's see, actually. This will be the crux of the nail. How well does this do? Yeah, so you can see it went straight through her. So you do got to aim at the feet, which reduces kind of the overall damage of the explosion. If you, like, because now that you can't, like, or at the very least, you got to try a lot harder to, like, hit somebody with the explosion and the impact. And like, so yeah, like that's a problem, right? That's a problem. Cause I think I'll just shoot right. Yeah, I'll shoot right through that. We can't have that. That's a problem. I almost wish explosive weapons weren't affected by punch through. Like, I wish that was just a change DE would do. And I think that has ruined the primary, like, effect on this gun, right? Because, like, if I have trouble just, like, using the explosive bullshit on it, and it keeps going through the floor and all that shit, that's, like, I'm not going to say the main draw of the Tetra, but that's a huge draw to the Tetra. So we're going to throw on old-fashioned vigilante supplies, because we've seen... I'm going to get rid of machine rifle because it has kind of been skewing test. Because I do have the vigilante mods all equipped on it. But, oh, I meant to take off Shred too. I'm fucking retarded. So here's the question though. What do we put on Shred? Because for some reason I feel like it matters. We could go, like, because honestly, 72 status is a lot of status. And we could go pure Serration for just, like, the big boy numbers. Or what I think I'm going to go with is Hellfire. Because now, like, relatively speaking, we're going to be getting a lot more slash procs. Or fucking slash. God damn it. A lot more heat procs. Because, like, just, we have more heat. We will get more heat procs. That's how that works. I lament the loss of our fire rate. But, oh well. Yeah, I think it's kind of going to be the way we're going to go. How much fire rate was I getting from that? 55? And for the giggles, let's put on Helios. Maybe Helios will scan some things for us. I'm gonna do that way too many times.
Their rage is vehement, their focus impressive.
Do you need to...
Give them all warriors'
Okay,
death.
sorry. Yeah, I think without the ricochet, kinetic, the ricochet mod just isn't like worth having, right? Like, if I can't like shoot through enemies and have it ricochet off the walls and shit like that, I don't think there's much point. Because the problem without the punch through is you shoot the first enemy in front of you, and more than likely it just bounces back at you. And like, I mean, I guess you could be playing like a survival or an endless mission, but for the most part, like it bouncing back at you is not useful. The enemies are not going to be behind you. They're going to be in front of you, and you want it to like tear through the enemies in front of you and like maybe hit a wall and ricochet around that way, but like you definitely don't want it. You definitely don't want it bouncing back at you. That's not useful. Come on. Oh. Yeah, I think this is the build. The Tetra mod, while there's also a Tetra mod that increases accuracy when aimed down sights. I don't really know how much I'd suggest that. But the Tetra mod, while being like a fun thing, you know, you can definitely throw that on Mirage and like have some fun. Much like with the Dragoon and its special mod, Primorian Accelerant. But yeah, like I think that's all it could be. You throw it on Mirage and like watch everything go everywhere. I know I've kind of already said it, by the way, but I do like the mods. I like the challenge. I think they visually look really cool. I think that they visually look really cool, and I think that they are a fun addition. I know not really an addition, but I think they actually do add to the gameplay now, as opposed to before they were just like there, and depending on like your play style, were either the most annoying thing in the world because like it was just a leech draining your energy from a million miles away, or it was you just never noticed them because by the time they got anywhere close to you, your abilities had wiped them off the map anyways. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have any more else to add to the Tetra. I think after this mission, we'll give it the review and move on. I can't remember what exactly comes next. I think it's the Archoplasmor, and that'll be a quick one because it's, you know, it's the Tenant Archoplasmor. Come on, guys. You know what, though? While we talk about these, since I have out of things to talk about with Lieutenant Tetra, I want to talk about the Lich and Sister weapons. And of course I'm gonna start yawning. And more specifically, I want to talk about their, like, how you acquire them and when you can acquire them. Now, for the longest time, the Tenet and Kuva weapons have had an official, like, point you need to be at for you to actually, like, a specific MR that you need to be using, right? Except that's not true. MR has no dependency on, like, what level you are. It's actually, like, you need to be this level to build it, not to use it. Which, like, if you think about the older, like, how we used to get weapons, that's, like, that makes sense, because that way, like, you can buy a weapon and have it in your inventory and be able to use it, and there's no conflict in the game's code for that. Whereas if you tried to do it the non-paywall way, that's when the game's code is flat. The problem this has created, though, is the Kuva weapons and the Tenet weapons you can pick up at any MR. And I am about to advocate that this is a bad thing. My main reasoning for this is I help a lot of new players, right? I got a lot of new players that I kind of like will take under my wing for a little bit, or like I'll help them with some certain content. And the minimum MR you need to be to actually get a Kuva weapon, and I think even a sister weapon too at this point, is MR8. Because all you need to do is complete the War Within and or the Sisters of Parvos quest. And I'm not even 100% sure the Sisters of Parvos quest has a set, like... I am noticing something about the Tetra though. I'm not even sure the Sisters of Parvos quest has a set, like, MR for it. So, theoretically, you could be fighting Sisters at, like, MR2. To get into, like, why this is an issue, I want to talk about, like, player progression and, like, oh no, player progression. Again, we're talking about it again, you know, like everyone, like, the Warframe community has been an echo chamber about the new player experience and player progression for a long time now, but I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring, so bear with me. A lot of the enjoyment, I think, that comes into Warframe is continually getting more and more powerful gear, right? Now, Warframe is an ever-evolving game, so, like, there's eventually going to be something more powerful to go for. Eventually, because of just how this game works, the Kuvazar and Kuva Brahma and Kuva Nukor and the Tenet Arca Plasmor, all these, like, super high-end weapons that we use nowadays will be considered, like, just okay guns. You know, like, it happened to the Soma, it happened to the normal Tonkor, it happened to Mirage and the Simulor. It's gonna happen to those two. It's happened to everything else before. It is just how games like this work. But with those weapons specifically, I think that they ruin a new player's experience. And usually it is ruined by a well-meaning friend who is like, oh, you're new to this game, you're MR10, you're struggling, let's get you the most powerful weapons we can get you, right? Because, like, you want to help out your low-level buddy, enjoy the game, so let's have them skip the grind. Unfortunately, when you are playing a game and you just skip to the best possible gear, or at least some of the best possible gear, there's, like, what, 183 primaries in the game, and I think 140 of those are unique. You've essentially ruined 140 weapons for him. And that's not 100% true, of course, because he may just decide that, like, while the Kuva Brahma is super powerful, the Corinth Prime is his jam, and that's what he prefers. But by and large, because you have skipped your MR8 buddy to getting, like, the Kuva Brahma or the Kuva Tsar right off the bat, he now has no reason to go after all of these weapons. Like, all of this gear right here. There's almost no reason to go after it because he already has the end game. He's already made it. He's done. And, like, that's a lot of content to, like, basically be screwed out of. Because you have the Kuva Brahma, nothing you pick up will be as good as the Kuva Brahma or feel as satisfying. Well, that second part's subjective, of course, but, like, nothing he picks up is going to compare. So he could pick up, we're going to ignore that. He could pick up the Sea-Doo and be like, oh man, the Sea-Doo's a great gun, and like, oh, I'm so excited for it. And then he starts using it, and he's like, oh, this isn't as good as the Brahma. Like, this is a cool gun, but it's not as good as the Brahma. And then he could get really excited for the Exceltra because he learned it was like a really great gun, and he picks it up and he's like, oh, it's not as good as the Brahma. And then he gets really excited for Ignis Wraith because he's heard it's really good, and then like, oh, it's not as good as the Brahma. Like, you see where I'm getting at here. It's kind of robbing players of the experience of having to try other weapons and figuring out what they enjoy and naturally coming to the power level of the Brahma. You know, it's the equivalent of, like, you play a game and your buddy drops you hacked weapons that, like, insta-kill everything or make the game a breeze. And at first, like, you know, you go through your power trip and you have super fun. But then as you play, you realize there's no reason to continue playing. Because you have the best gear, you know, and of course this doesn't apply to, like, Warframes, because you can't just, like, go get, quote-unquote, the best Warframe. That's going to be very playstyle subjective, and if you just get him the Kuva Brahma, there's still secondary melees he can go after. Like, I'm not saying you've 100% ruined the game for that player, or that, and I keep saying the word you, but hopefully you guys understand what I mean. The game has not been ruined entirely for that player. It's just every single primary he ever is going to pick up is going to be compared to the Brahma, and it should be. The Brahma is his best weapon, and he's going to be found, like, everything feels lacking, you know? And then, like, you get bored with the game because, like, what's the point? You already have the best gear, and you stop playing for 6 or 7 months, and you pick it back up, and you try the new content, and you're like, oh, the new content still isn't as good as the Brahma, and eventually it becomes one of those games that you haven't played in, like, 4 years, and you have no desire to even play. It may be a thing that, like, maybe, like, it'll go back and forth. You know, I'm not going to say every player will experience that, but I have met a large number of players who are, like, MR 9, 10, 11, and, like, have just flat out told me, like, they have no plans on ever trying any other weapon because they just know the Kuva Tsar or the Brahma is the best thing, so what's the point, right? Like, this isn't even me, like, inferring this will happen. This is just other players have told me, oh yeah, I don't ever plan on going up in MR or ever plan on going up in through primaries or trying anything else because I already have the best gear, so what's the point, you know? Which, like, is a fair, like, way of thinking of, like, that's fair, that, like, you can't, that's a fair line of logic, but it's an unfortunate one for DE. And I do think, just for the sake of, like, player engagement and not having players skip to the top of the mountain instantly, they really need to figure out a way to make it so newer players can't just go get the Brahma, you know? And the way I do have a suggestion. I think, honestly, if the MR requirement is just changed to be like, hey, you need to be that MR to claim a weapon, I think, honestly, this could fix a couple things where, one, you can buy weapons early. Like, say you're about to be MR9, you can pick up a bunch of MR10 weapons, and then start building them. So as soon as you're MR10, you can just claim them and get them. And then also, I think this could be leveled. I think what could be added on is a what's it called? A like warning that says, "Hey, you won't be able to use this weapon when it's done. Are you sure you want to build it?" And then also, like, there's I thought you could still. Oh, I thought you could dismantle claimed weapons. I guess you can. I guess it has to be in progress. Let me find something real quick to build. I always need ciphers. No, okay. You can't cancel built weapons anymore. Maybe you never could. Oh well. Oh. But yeah, I'll wrap this rant up. I just feel like if we swapped it to that would both be like a good thing for players. Maybe they wouldn't even be waiting because they could start MR9 and then start building a bunch of MR10 weapons. And then as soon as they become MR10, they can enjoy their new stuff. I think that would maybe even motivate players a little bit more to know that they have this thing waiting in their foundry that they've already put the resources in. It might motivate them to make that next push to MR that they otherwise would not have the same amount of motivation to do, which will also be a good thing for DE because you have more players getting further into the game and enjoying more of the game's content.
At your earliest convenience.
And being incentivized to a little bit more quickly. Because the only thing more maddening than watching one of these bars go up slowly is seeing it ready to claim, but not having the ability to claim it. On that note, let's go back to talking about the Tenet Tetra. We devised a crude ranking system that I think was quality of life, crowd control, single target, and fun factor. Quality of life, things like fire rate, reload speed, just usability of the gun. I'm gonna give this a B. I'm yawning again. This is really good for video content, huh? I'm gonna give it a solid C, maybe a C plus. The reason is honestly just the secondary fire. Secondary fire holds it way back. Just the game stopping and making you reload to use it is a huge shame. And honestly, if it either A, just took 80 rounds out of your reserve, or B, scaled its damage to whatever you had left in the mag, I think that would be really nice and flow really better. And or even if they just like, if maybe it just didn't take all your rounds, like I don't like, those are 3 ways I think they could fix this. I don't know why I'm yawning again. But yeah, that's 3 ways they could definitely go about fixing this. With I think the first way of it just shooting whatever you happen to have left in your mag is the best way of doing it. Its fire rate feels a little slow and clunky. I thought it felt very good when I was using Prime Shred, but Prime Shred ruins the secondary fire on it, so you know, there is that problem. And then like the reload's fine. It's 1.7. That's not a big deal. So yeah, I think I give it a C plus, with just the clunkiness of the secondary big AoE explosion being what holds it back. Single target damage, I think I'm going to give it a solid C, because it's not like really blowing things away, but it's not doing like so terrible. I'll probably actually, yeah, C, but it's almost at a B, you know. So it's just, it can chew through some solid single enemies, but it can't really like melt them and move on. But like I said, it does chew through them, you know. So it's gonna get a C there. Crowd control, and this explosion is not super big. It's only 8 meters, and there isn't a huge amount of room in the build for Prime Firestorm. For like example, the base range of the Kuvazar is 7, but it has all the Bombal pellets that increase their range. I'm sorry, it's apparently 8. Huh, yeah. So it's 8, and it has all the little pellets that like help increase the range. The Kuva Brahma, once again, 8, and has all the little pellets to help increase its range. So that it has much better crowd control, and then also both of these weapons can more than easily fit on Firestorm. So like, I'm gonna give it a B, you know, because it does it better than some weapons. Like, I think it was doing it better than the Kuva Tankor, if you ask me, that has a shorter range and just not as good of an explosion. But it wasn't, like I said, it's not blowing me away. Haha, I'm clever. So yeah, that being said, fun. All right, for I'm gonna give this a weird rating, because for fun, if we go like silliness and we go like shred and the Tetra mod and like there is definitely some fun ways to build this. I'm yawning again. Why does God hate me? Yeah, there's definitely like some fun ways to do this. And like, yeah. But like, they aren't the best, like most practical setups. You're gonna struggle. So I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a solid B, because like I said, it has the potential to be a very fun, goofy weapon. I could definitely see a fun, goofy build with Mirage in the Simulacrum, or I'm sorry, in the normal star chart. That's really fun. Overall, I'm gonna give the Tenet Tetra a respectable. I'm gonna give it a respectable B. Oh, it's a low B, I will admit, maybe a B minus. But I think I'm gonna give it a B. Yeah. Moving on to the Tenet Archiplasmor. Guys, it's the Archiplasmor. Need I say more? Do I need to say more? I will. I'm gonna. Alright, build for this is very standard stuff. We're gonna be using Galvanized Hell, Galvanized Savvy. You don't, as far as my testing has shown, you don't need to land like the outskirt edges of that projectile are still counted in Galvanized Savvy. Like I said, as far as my testing has shown and seen, and definitely anything firmly caught in the projectile is considered direct damage. This is, I mean, it's a standard crit shotgun. We use Prime Ravage and critical deceleration. We're going to use Toxic Barrage just to put us over that 100% status point. That's a nice time. 100 munitions because it's a crit weapon. Scattering Inferno to once again put us just over that 100%. And give us some spicy heat numbers. Look at that, 1,100 heat proc, and radiation coming in. Honestly, this is the perfect amount of radiation. Small enough that like you will get some radiation procs, but it's not an overwhelming amount of radiation, and like it's not going to like really shoot yourself in the foot because you can't get heat to proc because radiation constantly is going off. Galvanized acceleration, this is just going to make it so this projectile lasts from here to Timbuktu, which is always nice. And then, oh yeah, our primary Merciless, because it's my preferred primary arcane, so I'm going to use in everything. Honestly, just because I know... Oh, that's right, these haven't reset yet. Fuck. We're going to blow through this fucking test, though. Like... It's just going to, like, plow through.
Your enemies have grown fierce.
Beedly-dee.
Use all that you have learned.
I'm gonna shoot your feet. Noteworthy things about the Tenant Arca Plasmor. Unlike the normal Arca Plasmor, these shots do ricochet. I think they will ricochet up to once. Oh no, apparently up to twice. Ricocheted shots, as far as I can tell, do not do less damage. They do the same amount of damage as initial firing, but that's okay. No, that's a good thing. This thing's just absolutely going to murk everything in its sight. There is no surviving. There is only hoping for a quick, swift death. Also, this projectile just looks cool. There's so much detail in it that is just, like, funny to me. He's gonna die, I think. No? Okay. It's just very funny seeing, like there's little, corpus sigils, corpus characters embedded into the, projectile that, like, you can kind of see on the outskirt edges of it. That's a cool, neato little feature. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Turning into Luigi for some reason. I don't know why either. Let's go. What? Who is your favorite Mario brother? Mario or Luigi? I like Luigi. I just really like Luigi. I love the Luigi Mansion games, even though I have not played Dark of the Moon. I've played Luigi's Mansion 1 and 3. I love Luigi's Mansion 3. It's a great game. Guys, if you haven't played Luigi's Mansion 3, it's fucking cool. Like, it's so fun. It's not a super hard game, like, by any means. I think maybe there's... And it's kind of short, honestly, compared to the originals. There's a lot more to do. There's a lot more collectibles, but it's in a smaller package. And I think, honestly, I think the bulk of my time was spent just kind of looking for collectibles. It's a lot more... It's a very puzzle-focused game, which I enjoy. Yeah, I really enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 3. I haven't replayed it in a while. I probably should. Very cute game. I like Nintendo games in general. Like, I love Nintendo games. Nintendo can't make a bad game, if you ask me. You can see Galvanized Savvy going to work as I just football fields away. Those enemies are not safe. You can see Inaro's keeping me alive as I get that heavy gunner to shoot me. But yeah, I don't know. This is turned into a gush fest about Nintendo. Oh, hey, there's that new door I've been looking for.
You are Queen chosen, soldier. Greatness.
We've managed to finish this
awaits you.
before
Greatness.
the Acolyte comes out, so we're
Or
gonna
perhaps
hang out and
death.
keep killing everything. Yeah, I don't think Nintendo can make a bad game.
Successful
Like,
mission. Find
as long as it's like a first-party Nintendo game. Even Nintendo games that I don't like aren't bad games. Like, hot take, I don't like Breath of the Wild. It very simply comes down to, like, I wanted a traditional Zelda game, and that's not what I got. I don't think it's a bad game, I just think it's a bad Zelda. I really like the setup of doing the dungeons, and you fight the mini boss to get the dungeon item, and then you use that item to like progress through the game and further, and all that fun stuff. I really like it. I really like dungeons are my favorite part of Zelda games, and I think most people would agree that Breath of the Wild's dungeons were lacking, because they were just kind of glorified physics puzzles. Malice isn't going to stand a chance, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I missed a shot, and like Malice didn't stand a chance. Yeah,
You are
just
Blade. You exist to strike.
I
You
really
strike
like
to win. The lesson ends.
the old school Zelda formula, and I really hope they return to it, and that Breath of the Wild isn't the norm going forward. But that being said, like I said, I don't like Breath of the Wild. It's still a fantastic game. Like, you put a different coat of paint on that and call it a different IP, I probably would have loved it. Let's make fun of this fucker's name. Pod
Right
Udaz.
before someone
There's not really-
dies, their last word is almost always no. It was my last word to you.
Cool.
Remember.
No, I do not. It was like 30 seconds ago, and I still don't remember.
Are you holding?
28% heat. Okay. Taking a break from my Nintendo rant. The 10-nit Arcoplasma. Was anybody shocked? Hopefully not. Starting with quality of life, A. I'm gonna give it an A rating. Its reload, I mean, considering what the damage it puts out is, its reload is great. It doesn't have any weird wonky mechanics. It even has like a fun ricochet mechanic that can help you, like, occasionally you'll bounce a shot around a corner and kill even more enemies than you thought you were going to. Its fall off even without... Oh. Hold on. There we go. Its fall off even without it is like really generous. 36 meters being a really nice fall off. As far as I'm concerned, its quality of life is just great. Its projectile is fucking massive. You might as well be shooting a car down a hallway, because that's what this projectile is. It is a car traveling at the speed of death. Speed of Death. Ooh, that's like a good metal album title, right? Anyone else agree? Fucking Pantera's newest album, Speed of Death. It's, like a Megadeth album. Yeah. All right. Continuing on. Crowd damage. I'm gonna give this one an A. It may not have like the AOE of, say, the Kuvazar or the Kuva Brahma, but I think it has something even better of infinite punch through and traveling as far as it does. When you have that, and in a game like Warframe that is a lot of hallways and enemies bunch up close together, you can fire down a hallway and do way more damage with one shot of this than you can with a Brahma or a Tsar. And it comes with the added bonus of you're not going to knock yourself flat on your ass. You don't need to take a special frame or use prime sure footed to ensure that you don't. Yeah, I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to say it's even like A+, in its crowd control. Single target damage, I'm gonna give it a B, honestly. Like, it's a fuck ton of damage. I think I'm gonna give it a B plus, a low. I'm gonna give it a low A. I'm gonna change my rating to a low A, A minus-ish, right on the fucking fly. Just, you saw how it handled Misery, or the Acolyte. I kind of tore through him pretty quickly. The Archoplasmor, fun fact, cannot get headshots, so don't worry about aiming for the head. That is kind of a pain because headshots would be really nice to be able to get, but you don't need to worry about it. You can just aim center mass and fire, which makes... It is a knock on the damage, but maybe a bonus on the quality of life? Who knows? It's kind of up to your interpretation. But yeah, single target damage, it's not terrible. It's not going to be as good as, like, say, the Rubico, you know? Not as good as, like, the Kuva Heck or the Shakur. Obviously, the primarily single target weapons, but, like, it's fucking great at it, you know? It's still going to take down that heavy gunner or that Xmas unit, and fucking a good time. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a high B plus. Yeah, B plus. Final answer. And then it's fun. I think this gun's very fun. I think shooting a car-sized projectile down a hallway and killing everything, or at the very least everything being fucked up and dying, is fun. Taken out of context, that sounds really bad. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you guys tell I really like the Archoplasmor. I'm gonna give it a final grade of A. It's a solid weapon. It gets a solid A as a grade. I personally think it's better than the Brahma and the Tsar, just over the simple fact of you can't knock yourself on the ass, and it is way more practical. It's so nice. Next up, the Tenet Flex Rifle. This is another weapon that I kind of already have the build set and done because I fucking love this thing. I will say critical delay is better than point strike. I have sat and done the math, and I do not remember the exact numbers, but it is, you will inflict more slash procs with 100 munitions per second with critical delay than you will with point strike. Not by a lot, I remember that much, but when you're fighting high level targets, things like that do indeed matter. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing about this build. It's a very simple build: galvanized chamber, galvanized aptitude, crit delay, prime shred. We're gonna use prime shred because the punch through on this weapon is super nice, and this weapon actually deals enough damage to afford it, oddly enough. 100 munitions because it's a slash or because it's a whatchamacallit weapon, a crit weapon. Vital Sense because it is a crit weapon, and then we're just gonna shred through them with some status. We're not super worried about having any heat on here because this is a heat flex rifle. Also, I do want to get into one thing. The progenitor bonus, there's this myth going around, and this is fact. I will confirm this is fact. That the heat procs on this, if you have a 60% Tenet Flex rifle, you will get less slash procs than if you had a 25% heat flex rifle. This is true. If you want the most slash procs, you want a 25% flex rifle. However, there is a bit of information that is left out of this when people are talking about this that kind of makes it not fucking matter and make it so you do indeed actually want a 60%. The thing, though, is if you get a 60% Tenet Flex rifle, you will actually do higher damage slash procs, because a slash procs damage is based off your total weapon damage. Higher weapon damage, higher damage slash procs. And if you sit and like math it out to figure out what gives you the most damage per second, a 25 or a 60%, with slash procs are concerned, it actually comes down to be the same exact number. I cannot do this math. People way smarter than me have done the math. If you want a really good video on this, go to YouTube, check out the Kengineer. He has a great video. I think it's just called Myth Busting or Warframe Myth Busting. YouTube, the Kengineer. He's amazing. I haven't checked out a huge amount of his videos, but I really like what he does. We're gonna give him a shout out. Go check him out for more information and the raw math on how that works. But the TLDR of it is, whether you have a 25% or a 60%, you will get the same damage output from your slashes. So you might as well just get a 60, and do it that way. Moving on. That's kind of it for this. That digression with the slash marks. This is my favorite Tenet rifle, Tenet gun. It may not be the highest damaging. It's not going to out damage the Archiplasmor, and probably isn't even going to out damage the Envoy. But it's fun. I really like it.
Accept your death,
It's
and you may yet avoid
it's
it.
a laser pointer
Trust
of death.
in your
Like,
training.
come on. We're just gonna get it built up here. My favorite thing about it is that it does all the work for you, and your tasty Grenier grilling. You know, like grilling Grenier with any weapon is a pain, right? Like, you go through all the work, and they're so hard to evenly cook, and then you gotta chop them up into bite-sized pieces afterwards. With the Tenet Flux Rifle, not anymore. All those annoying days of cutting up and then cooking and all that in one go is over with the Tenet Flux Rifle. It slices, it dices, it flambés, it sears, it burns, it broils. It does it all, so you and your busy 10-0 day don't have to anymore. You can move on to other more important things with all that time, like waiting for another Forma to build, waiting for your next weapon in the Foundry to build, waiting for the next content drop. Your busy days just got so much easier thanks to the Tenet Flux Rifle. I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that, dumb sales pitch. Get yours today. Dial 1-800-PARVOS and go kick whoever's ass answers the phone, and they will drop you a Tenet Flux Rifle. Get yours today. The next 50 callers will receive a free ephemera. Alright, I'm done with this. I am done. Just 3 easy ass whooping. Alright, I'm done. I can't stop myself. Back to the actual gun. As you can see, it is actually tearing. Its single target damage is ridiculous. It's going to kill these guys. It stacks on even right there. That was it. Just one quick burst. It did so many procs so quickly. That's going to kill him. Look at that. He's dead. He's dead, Jim. It's a dumb Star Wars weapon. Or Star Trek. Star Trek. God, nobody's going to watch to ever learn I made that mistake, but, that was terrible aiming. Yeah, this is, like I said, you may not be doing the most damage with this. You're not, but, God, it's a laser pointer of death. It's so cool. I love it so much. What on earth are you trying to scan? Huh. Oh. Apparently I don't have Gauss unlocked. See, look, I knew Helios would be good for something. Good for what? I don't know. But, you know, something. Standing off for Frame Fighter. I got the poster and I stopped caring. Now, unfortunately... Look, buddy. Unfortunately, when the Acolyte shows up, it's not going to be a good time for the gun. Oh, right on time. Look at that. Couldn't have planned this better myself. The Acolyte is going to, like, put up a fight. This is a gun that, as you can see, is killing through its immense amount of status, and it cannot... I can't stack up that much status. I have enough ammo, it won't matter. Yeah, I mean, you can see, like, for the Acolytes, it's just not doing the trick. And I have the ammo to sit and chew through this, but do I have the patience is a completely other thing. This Acolyte might kill me. When you get stuck like that, just zoop away. That's what I find helps best. Get to your operator, zoop away. Just so I can be shooting something else. This right here, though, come on. This right here, though, is why I really wish DE would just take off the status cap on these Acolytes. Like, this is dumb, right? Now, normally in a normal mission, because I will say, like, we talk about how, like, all right, this can't kill an Acolyte, and, like, this sucks, so this fight's gonna be a slog. In a normal mission, you can plan for that, right? Like, I am obviously trying to limit myself to just one thing. In a normal mission, why'd I come back there? That's weird. In a normal mission, you could totally, like, bring a Glaive Prime, you know? You could bring the Glaive Prime and just, like, not have any issue whatsoever. There is no issue anymore. It's done. You're not going to be sitting here struggling to kill Mania, walking back and forth across the same catwalk over and over. Cool. That took way too long. Yeah, like I said, in a normal mission, you would just be able to sit there and, like, oh, Mania's here. There's my normal weapon to, like, take care of him, you know, and then you're done. Unfortunately, due to the arbitrary rules in this challenge, Descent into Madness I've given myself, that's not the case, you know? But, back to the good times. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like Luigi. You can also see, by the way, this gun's pretty ammo efficient. That's probably something else I should take into consideration when talking about the quality of life, is the ammo efficiency of a gun. Because if a gun has like shit ammo efficiency, that's like a problem in of itself. One of the other things, too, I'd like to talk about is, like, this is Steel Path. If I was not doing Steel Path, like, I would obviously, like, I could just sweep this laser left to right, and it would clear a room, you know? That's another thing we should probably mention, at least in terms of, like, how effective this is. We are seeing it versus... we are seeing it in conditions it normally would not be faced, you know? Oh, somebody in the alliance with something. A good paracesis book. We can give that to him.
Another successful mission. Find extraction.
And get out of here with, if I hadn't have had to fight Mania like that, definitely would have done better ammo-wise. It's actually pretty ammo efficient, all things considered. Just that Mania fight really fucking drained the weapon, drained my ammo. We're going to give him this paracesis build, and then move on.
Oh, you. Don't be in a snit. Let's talk, you silly thing.
God, now I gotta listen to this every time. Cool. Alright, so... Paracesis, quality of life stuff, I'm gonna give it a B. In fact, honestly, I'm gonna bump this up to an A. It's easy to aim, it has no recoil, it's a laser beam of death. It's got nothing hurting the gun, you know, it's got no hindrances. It gets an A. It's got a good ammo economy. Yeah. We're gonna say it gets an A. Crowd control, crowd damage, I'm gonna give it like a C or a B, low B at best. That's my love for the weapon shining through. If we're gonna give it a C+, because you can chew through a crowd very quick. Like, you can melt a crowd very quickly because you just put 20 slash procs onto something and move on, and it very quickly drops dead. You don't have to worry about anything, you know, it's just dead. So you really only have to do, like, melt half a target's health bar and then move on, and status does the rest. Single target damage, oh yeah, for crowd control, yeah, like I said, we're high C+. Single target damage, I'm gonna give it an A with the caveat of you're not fighting a fucking acolyte, because fighting an acolyte, you're capped on status and it just takes forever. But I'm gonna give it an A regardless, because, like, even high level, high armored enemies, the slash procs shoot through them no fucking problem. Even Eximus's, it does not give a shit about overguard. So yeah, it's gonna get fucking an A rating there. When it comes to when it comes to what's the last one? Fun. I think this gun's fun as shit. I mean, come on, it's a laser pointer of death. It makes a fun sound. It slices, it dices, it broils, it flambés enemies. I've already gone into that bit, but, like, I don't know. There's something specific about it. I'm gonna give it an A in fun, because it just tickles that sweet little spot for me. Overall, I'm gonna give this gun a B. It gets a B overall. Warframe's meta is clearing entire rooms in one shot, not beaming down one hard target, which is what this gun excels at, is beaming down one hard target, as long as it isn't an acolyte, the only hard targets that matter anymore. So yeah, pick up a flux rifle, go enjoy it. Next gun, Tenet Envoy. Let's see what build I have on this fucker. This should be fine. This shouldn't need any tweaking. Let's see. Yeah, this looks fine, to be completely honest. I'm not gonna worry about status, just simply because like it's kind of not worth it to worry about. What kind of envoy is this? This is a radiation one. I don't know why I went radiation here. Did I mean to, or did I just accidentally get a radiation one and didn't care? I'm going to say, like with all the other Kuva weapons, heat's probably going to be the way to go on this one. And all the other Tenet weapons, heat's probably the way to go on this one. I don't know why I have a radiation one. I have no memory. I probably just didn't care. By the time I got to it, I was probably just done. Let's take this into the Steel Path Exterminator and talk about it. Talk about its abilities and all that fun shit. I need to get dinner soon, but I don't want to.
Your enemies have grown fierce. Use all
Alright, so
that
one
you
thing
have
about the
learned.
Tenet Envoy. You can either A, free fire rockets. Oh, that's my controller drift. Yeah, you can free fire rockets and they fire pretty quickly. The explosions look cool too. Or you can aim down sights and control it. And it actually controls very well. And it makes a different beeping sound when you are aiming at an enemy. Which is fun. I mean, it's a cool little gimmick, to be honest. But that's kind of what it is it's a gimmick. I can't think of... Scattered Gem. Radiation is a weird one. So... if you pick up a weapon and it has like innate radiation on it, like just as what the weapon has, that's not a bad thing, right? But choosing to put radiation on because of the meta and the current like way we build weapons, nobody's choosing to put radiation on. And the simple thing is that like our other choices are just better. You know, heat procs will kind of slightly crowd control enemies, and you will be able to strip enemy armor, and you'll just do damage over time with a heat proc. This is all like, these are three good things: crowd controlling an enemy, stripping armor, and damage over time. Like, and radiation though, you get more damage versus alloy armor, which is the type of armor that like bombards have, but like it's not. We don't care about that, you know. When you're fighting Eidolons, you kind of want to have radiation damage, just because they're really weak to radiation, and they aren't susceptible to like things like status effects and things like that. So it's just how much raw damage can you pump into an Eidolon. But in general, like, heat's just the better thing to put on there. It's just going to be more universally useful. It's just going to work better. Yeah, and that's kind of the whole gist of it. Good question though, like, because traditionally, like, yeah, I mean, traditionally radiation is considered like a good element. It's just in the context of Kuva weapons and being able to pick what element you put on your gun, it's not it's not like a first pick, you know. I will say, if you want like an Eidolon hunting Kuva Shakur, then you do definitely want radiation on that. But other than that, who cares? Like that's kind of the answer I'm going to throw at you. For like whatchamacallit reasons, priming an enemy, or like condition overload, or another weapon that has one of the galvanized condition overload mods. Radiation can be good on like the Kuva Nucor, you know, but even then, like, it's not that big of a deal, you know. But back to the Tenet Envoy, you can see like it has a very pretty explosion. It does a very good job of visually letting you know how large that explosion is too. Like it is like a practical thing. And then the like homing works fine. If you're like me and you haven't, I don't think I've done it yet in this game, but I will aim glide a lot to like extend the duration of a jump. And sometimes what'll happen is I will be just kind of rolling through a mission as normal, and I will fire and aim glide to get further in a jump. And when I fire, like you can fire and then take over, and then let go. And oh, if it hadn't hit the wall, I would have been able to do that over and over. But essentially what'll happen is I'll fire, like say I'm firing down to there, and then I'll aim glide this way, and it'll knock the rocket off course, and it becomes an issue. It's definitely one of those things you can get used to it, you know. So I'm not going to knock the gun too much for that. But it would be nice if I fired a bullet, if I fired a rocket, if whatever mode it left the barrel in is what it stayed in, that'd be nice. I don't know what you said to me, but I feel like it was an insult. Hey, come here, apologize. Once I'm visible and you can see me, I expect an apology. Apologize. That's not an apology. You're hitting me. It's very mean. Alright, enough of that bit. Also, too, like, the crowd control on this is very good.
Well
like,
done. Now get to extraction.
It has no issue dealing with crowds of enemies, and, like, it deals with a singular target fine. You know, like, it's obviously not going to do as well as, like, a sniper, you know, or a bow. But, like, when it comes to just, like, plopping a whole group of enemies, like, yeah, it's good. Still gotta wait for some acolyte to spawn. This weapon will probably do pretty good versus an acolyte, just because like it's a lot of damage going out of a single shot. The acolyte's probably not gonna have a good day if it ever wants to show up. That'd be nice. Played really nice last time. It came right on cue. As soon as I started talking about it, it showed up. This time it doesn't want to play. Wait. It's my mission progress. Ah, you fucker. You should be here by now. I know for a fact they can spawn after I finish the mission. So where are you? Oh, fuck. How are you guys? How is the single person in chat? Thank you for being here today. You're awesome. You think he'll come out if I serenade him? Watch me terribly play. slightly terrible. Is that the serenade needed to get him out of his hiding? Huh? No? Well, that's upsetting. Let's go kill more things. Hey, look at that. That was what I wanted. Just blood sacrifice. Can I find one more thing to kill just for the sake of having a higher multiplier? No? Oh well. Alright, we have a bugged out Violence. Violence, I thank you. Thank you for just standing there while I shoot you. It really made that a lot easier. I've never seen an acolyte just stand there and fucking take it to the face. Like, that was... okay. Cool. Oh, come on. Where's he gonna move on from that weirdness?
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.
But yeah, that was the Lieutenant Envoy, one of the game's few rocket launchers. I think there's the Kuva Ogress and the Lieutenant Envoy, and I mean honestly, the Envoy's way better. Like, it's just way better. Moving on, let's get to the normal rankings. Rankings for its quality of life. I'm gonna give it a B, only in the sense that its secondary fire is wonky, and sometimes just how we move throughout the levels will cause you to like miss shots, which like anytime just moving through the game normally causes you to miss your target, or can cause you to miss something on another gun you would have hit, is bad. And like I said, if the bullets, if it left the barrel and stayed in that state, that would probably fix the problem. But I don't think they're ever going to make that change. So, oh well. I'm gonna give it like a solid B. Crowd control damage, I'm gonna give it an A. It's an explosive weapon. It deals with crowds well because it's an explosive AoE weapon. Single target damage, I'll give it a B. It just has enough raw damage that it can chew through a single target very quickly, and it usually doesn't care. But again, it doesn't do it like as well as, say, a sniper or something like that. So yeah, fun. I personally don't find the Lieutenant Envoy very fun. There's just something about it. The wonkiness of its secondary fire is fun to play around with, but after that it just becomes more annoying than anything else. But like, again, fun is subjective. It could be up to you. I'm gonna give it a C. You might give it an A. That being said, I'm gonna give it a C. And the Lieutenant Envoy overall, I'm gonna give probably a low B. If you're looking for crowd control and to actually like get rid of like rooms of enemies, we have the Kuvazar and the Brahma and the Archiplasmor. I don't think we need to go to the Envoy. There's just... unless you really want the briefcase rocket launcher. But yeah. We're going to skip this thing because I haven't fucked with them in forever. Like, the kit guns are weird, and I don't feel like stopping everything to figure out the best kit gun setup and wait for it to be built and all that. And I make the arbitrary rules to my own dumb challenge, so we're going to move on. If it gets popular and people enjoy watching me torture myself, we'll go back and do those. But for now, we're moving on to the Exceltra, a weapon that at one point broke the Riven market. It was so popular. And I haven't actually properly tested in a while. So, I can say right off the bat, this is probably not the final build, although the status of it is so low. We're going to go visit Daddy Teshin, and we're going to go grab the arcane adapter this thing's going to need.
Oh, lovely. Everything in its place.
While I do that, I'm going to send out a quick thingamajig, a quick ad. Cool. I know, I'm all scummy advertising in Alliance chat, but oh well. We all gotta start somewhere. Alright. God, it upsets me because literally like a few days before I decided I was going to do this, I had literally hundreds of steel essence and I spent it all on Kuva. Like, I just got bored and I spent it all on Kuva and it was all wasted. And man, I would have loved to spend, because I probably seriously could have bought like 20 or 30 arcane adapters and that would have been nice. Alright, we're gonna plop that in, we're gonna plop that in, and we're gonna throw on Primary Merciless. If I remember, we're gonna go to Simulacrum to figure some of this out. Because if I remember correctly, the Exceltra does forced. Hey guys, Clown is streaming. Cool. Check out I'm the Clown's stream. He's a cool streamer. Don't leave my stream to do it though. Stay with me, I'm cooler. Let's see. That means he's on should be on Warframe somewhere. There he is. This guy right here. There you go. He's a cool streamer. Check him out when you get a chance. Shout out to him. Alright. But if I remember correctly, the way the math works out with galvanized aptitude, on kill, 40% direct damage per status type, affecting the target for 20 seconds, stacks up to 2 times. Now, this is direct damage, and I know the Exceltra is an explosive weapon. I will get to that and why I think galvanized aptitude is still the way to go. If you have seen my thoughts on the Kuva Shakur, it's basically the same exact thing, but I'll go over it again. Oh, and I should probably cram in. We're going to need to forma this thing, damn it. Alright. Oh, well, that's what we're all here for, right? To watch me spend way too much forma on dumb weapons. But yeah, galvanized aptitude. This times 2 means that basically it'll be 80% damage per status of type affecting the target. Most notably, what is missing from this build is Serration. Seration's 165 additional damage. Galvanized aptitude, basically, it will guarantee me an impact proc. I'll show that in a second. And then Hunter Munitions will very quickly guarantee me a slash proc. That'll bring us to 160% damage with a decent amount chance for a third damage type, which will bring us up to 240% damage, way higher than Serration, which is why that's what we keep on there instead. Because of how damage types work, Serration is considered like just a standard damage. Same thing with Aptitude and Primary Merciless, and stacking too many of the same, what in the game's code considers the same damage type. Those damage types being Standard, Elemental, Faction, those 3 damage types, stacking too many of one of those basically leads to diminishing returns, which is why you don't see Serration crammed into here. That being said, let's move on. Just going to spawn in some heavy gunners and shoot at them. And you can see very quickly 3 statuses, 4 statuses, like, super quickly, and slash procs out the wazoo. Like, unfortunately, it is moving things around. And I could probably stop shooting right there. Well, maybe not. Now, the real trick will be figuring out if Vigilante Armaments is worth it. 60% multi-shot is nice, but towards those higher-end damages, or those higher-end enemies, I think thermite rounds is going to be better. It's only going to give us 4% more status, and I don't think that will matter. In fact, probably the main crux of this is going to be whether or not Hellfire or thermite rounds. I have a feeling Hellfire, but in fact, let's start with Hellfire and see how quickly we just get a status proc. And then if I feel we're not getting them enough, I will switch back to them. Oh. Hold on, I'm an idiot. Let me just... Let's just fix that real quick. There we go. Viral. Cool. There is a heat proc. Now for what this test is, I just care about getting a heat proc. Because I'm not worried about heat procs as a damage source, I'm worrying about heat procs as a method of stripping armor, right? But I do want that heat proc to happen relatively quickly. Because if the heat proc happens when they're almost dead, it did nothing to help, right? Let me change these guys to level 100. Because I do want to be killing them relatively quickly. It like bounces them around very hilariously. And it's taking me like... I might have to set up some like low level dummies to kill real quick. Because I need to make sure the heat proc like is kicking in when I have like my damage ramped up. Because that's going, like I said, that's going to make a huge difference. If I just can't trigger that one heat proc, it's not going to matter, you know? So what we're going to do in this scenario is I'm going to spawn in 15 heavy gunners with 5 butchers, and these butchers will die pretty much instantly, so. Yep, instant death for them. Be able to like see through my fucking own numbers. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty often that the heat proc just kicks in fucking immediately. Like, it just immediately. That time it didn't. But, yeah. See, it didn't kick in there. I think it's kicking in enough. Although, viral isn't kicking in super often either. I think I am going to try thermite rounds real quick. I am going to get 60... I am going to get less damage. But hopefully that 4% makes a difference. Probably not, though. I don't know. With weapons like the Exceltra and just how much it outputs a lot more status than like players realize, because it's not just outputting like say it's not just has 14% chance, right? It's got 14% chance per direct impact of a projectile, and remember we're firing with what's it called? With galvanized diffusion maxed. We're always going to be firing 2 shots, and then we have a 30% chance to fire an additional 3rd shot. So, or I'm sorry, we're always firing 3 shots with an additional 30% chance to fire a 4th shot. Which means just before we take in explosions, we have 3-4 chances to roll for that status. And I think this is better. If it isn't, it's splitting so many hairs that it doesn't matter. And to be completely frank, this is going to be just a lot better, and I don't have to forma. Because oh, sorry about that. Because that forma will be much more important later. For some reason, I feel the need to swap those around like that. So we're going to take this to a normal mission. But yeah, because of just how status works, the direct hit to the body with the projectile counts as an instant of status, and then the explosion afterwards counts as a different instance of status. So we are getting minimum 8 for every bullet we expend, essentially. We are firing 3 projectiles minimum with 3 explosions. So we are essentially getting 6 chances minimum to roll a status effect. That's a lot of fucking status. You know? Even if it's 14% chance, you know, you have a 14% chance across 6 different times, up to 8.
To truly master
it's just a lot.
Of war.
It's an overwhelming amount. This butcher is going to help me get started here. My one fear with the Exceltra is I'm going to run out of ammo before I finish this test. In fact, I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to kill the Acolyte. That I'm going to have to pull out my arm gun. It's just a reality. It's not going to be able to do it. You can see I still have an approximate heat on them. Oh, fun fact. For the love of all that is holy, if you are using the Exceltra, please make your energy color black. Your teammates will think. Big problem with the Exceltra is essentially like it just turns into a blinding mess. I have already run out of ammo. Fuck. That's not good. Honestly, that's a bad sign. We're just gonna port right the fuck away. Because I'm not gonna sit there and brute force my way through that with health pads or ammo pads. I guess the only reasonable... I'm gonna have to put 2 form on this fucking thing. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put vigilante supplies. However, if I make this a dash, it's not going to fit. Like, if I am literally 1 capacity short. I am 1 capacity short. Oh, I have to put 7 form on this thing total. Alright, we are going to go to Hydron. Hydron's still, unfortunately, the best place to to level this kind of crap. So, off we go. Hopefully Hydron wants to be nice, and hopefully I have 14 hours left on this affinity booster before I need to buy a new one.
Our position has been compromised. Defend the cargo until reinforcements
This shouldn't take
arrive.
too long, longer. Usually Hydron with an affinity booster is about 10 waves. Probably should have equipped my Smedicavad, but oh well. Helios is going to scan this for the 3 bajillion time. It's going to fail to fucking scan this for the 3 bajillion time. Let me get a free buddy.
We
There
are
you go.
readying reinforcements. Keep fighting, Tenno.
Synthetic Dread. There's something about like the K on the end of that that makes it just like a very derpy looking name. I don't know why. Oh, rank 0 frames. Huh. Oh well. I mean, this is Hydron. It shouldn't be a surprise it clears. Hydron, no problem. Hot knife through butter. I do like the Sonaros look. One of the things too, I really wish this Nyx wasn't doing anything, but oh well. You can kind of see in a normal mission, I'm not having any troubles. Like, I will kind of point out that I'm killing enough things are dying that ammo's not really a concern. What is this Nyx doing? Poor Nyx. Man. She has found some renewed, like, use with, like, Acolytes and Cascade and the new Zeramin stuff because, like, she has access to a very good, very easy to use 100% armor strip. And I don't even think it's 100% armor. I'm pretty sure it's 100% debuff, which might include Overguard. Like, she might have a thing of stripping 100% Overguard. Tell this person 1 second. On Hydron now. This is great content, isn't it? Just seeing nothing as I do this. As I type out. Cool. I do say I really wish the Exceltra had a larger magazine, but oh well, you know, no big deal. Man, I am both very excited and dreading the coming weapons. Because now we are getting out of the realm of weapons where, like, weapon after weapon after weapon will be something I've already done and will just be me, like, talking about it. Now we are going to get into weapons where, like, I have zero form on it. It's just MR fodder for me. And I will have to do, like, 20 fucking rounds of Hydron to get anywhere with the weapon. And it's gonna break me. It's gonna be a fun time as we discover things about the weapon, about myself, and about each other along the way. Hydron, fuckers, no. Come on. As long as 2 of you stay, this is fine. Okay. So the thing about Elite Sanctuary Onslaught is, 1, you need to be able to kill things with the gun. The way Affinity works in Warframe is when you get a kill with a gun, 50% of that Affinity goes to the gun and 50% to your Warframe. Even if your Warframe is maxed out and you have no focus lens, 50% of that XP goes to the gun. So, like, I just got 556 from that guy. 275 of that, because we're just going to pretend it's 250 or 550. But half of that goes to my Inaros that, as far as I does not have a focus lens, is not leveling. And then the other 25 of that, or the other half of that, is going to my gun. So no matter what you do in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, you need to make sure you can get kills with that gun. Same thing, like, goes, you can't bring a maxed leveled gun and then, like, have it work on your low level gun, because it just doesn't work like that, you know? Bonus XP, which is XP like you gain from affinity, from teammate kills within affinity range, will go to unequipped weapons. But, like, if you want, like, that's going to be a slow process, you know? And also, like, the benefit of Hydron is that, like, Hydron is a relatively low-level mission, you know? Like, it's not that big of a deal. The enemies on it aren't very threatening. So, more than likely, you're going to be able to bring any weapon to Hydron, and it's going to be fine. You're going to kill everything. You're going to be able to get as much XP as you need on that weapon. It's not going to be an issue. That being said, theoretically, because I've never done it, because Hydron's just easier, you know, that's the other thing. Like, one might be technically better, but if it's a hard pain in the ass to do, then, like, who gives a fuck, you know? Like, for the longest time, having a Sleep Equinox go through a Darrow on Sedna, and then you followed behind with a weapon, a stealth weapon to kill everything in, like, a stealthy way and get the, like, stealth damage multiplier was the best way to farm things. You could literally, like, this is not a joke, somebody, I think, I want to say it was Vitalius on YouTube, he was able to level a frame in, like, finished the mission, level the frame in, like, 52 seconds or something like that. 0 to 30 in 52 seconds. But that requires an insane amount of skill. It requires a group who knows what the fuck they're doing. And, like, even though, yes, you can, even on the longer end of the spectrum, in 3 to 5 minutes, level up all your framing gear from 0 to 30 in, like, 3 minutes. That method is, like, not used because it's just a complete pain in the ass. So yeah, like, in theory, you could get a bunch of buddies together and you could all go do Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and then you could all, like, do that. But you have to get a bunch of buddies who are willing to sit there and Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and they have to like be able to carry you because you're just gonna kind of like stand there with the gun out, getting whatever kills you can. And then like, yeah, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught's also like can be a little weird and janky too. It's just overall like Hydron isn't the best in terms of like what's going to level your weapon up the quickest, but overall like it's just easiest. It's the easiest to access. It's the easiest to like find a group for because players are always doing Hydron. And yeah, I hope that a long-winded answer was acceptable. Probably. I'm gonna. Oh, and also Hydron like doesn't take that long. Like I've only been in this mission for 10 minutes, and I'm on the last wave. 11 minutes, sorry. So you spend 12 minutes in a mission. 10 to 12. If you have a really good group, you can clear Hydron in 8. You know. I will say, normal Sanctuary Onslaught is amazing for leveling up frames. You need to have access to the Helminth, and then you need to have Helminth Gauss to do this. But if you can Helminth Gauss's Thermal Sunder onto a Warframe's first ability, you will be able to level up any frame in normal Sanctuary Onslaught very, very quickly, and it is my go-to leveling method. You can do it solo, you can do it at any time. The only requirements is the Helminth system and to have subsumed Gauss. The way you do this method is you take whatever the weapon is, or whatever the frame is, you put Gauss's Thermal Sunder on their 1. This is very important. You put Thermal Sunder on their 1, and then you build for efficiency, range, and strength. This will effectively turn you into a nuking frame, any frame, because Gauss's Thermal Sunder is a map nuking ability. But this will effectively turn you into a map nuking frame, and you will like be able to go into a Sanctuary Onslaught with your level 0 frame, nuke it a shit ton of times, and level up. When you get a kill with a Warframe's ability, 100% of that XP goes to the frame. There is no splitting it between your weapons. So that's a pretty nice time. Let's hope this guy doesn't get impatient and just try to dip, because they will do that. Cool. Oops. Maybe eventually one day I'll sit and I'll go through every single frame in the game and do something similar where like I rate them and talk about them. I'll have to do it completely differently than how I'm doing this, because guns are really simple. Guns are really simple. There usually is defined like best builds you can put on them, you know, like give or take a mod here or there, but like mathematically there is a best build on a weapon. You know, this build gets you the most damage per second, and that's usually what matters the most on a weapon.
We are readying reinforcements. Keep fighting, Tenno.
However, frames don't work like that. You know, there's preference, like you, depending on what abilities you prefer to use and all that fun stuff. There are generally accepted best builds with a frame, but then like there's of course always the niche builds, and it's a huge amount of its preference. So that one could be trickier to do, but honestly, I would be really down to do that if there's like demand. I'm usually really always down to stream, and like I've wanted to stream for a while, but like there's life. But this is probably like a dumb enough idea, and like, yeah, this is probably a dumb enough idea, and I will take me so long that hopefully by the time I am over with this, I will have a small group of people who are willing to like follow me and watch me and my inane ramblings. That'd be nice. Isn't that what everyone wants? A small group of people to follow them around and enjoy their insane ramblings. I mean, come on. It's just everyone's like inner Jim Jones cult leader. I will never ask my followers to drink the flavor. I never. I don't even like Flavor Aid. It would probably be like iced tea. Yeah, it'd probably be a nice cup of tea. I actually upload these streams to YouTube. My first one is on there. It is 4 hours long. I think 4.5. It is all of the Kuva weapons in one sitting. And it is also me like figuring out like how I'm doing this, because the rating system, literally midstream, I stopped and asked Clan Chat. I was like, or Alliance Chat. I was like, hey, how do you guys feel about a rating system? Even if you're not watching the stream, like, thoughts on this. So like, I don't even think it's till the back half of the Kuva weapons that like the rating system comes into play and any of that. Where the fuck is the Stalker's punk ass? Did he already die? Somebody already, like... There he is. There he is. You stripped the Stalker. No, you can't. That would have been funny. It really is all with it. Oh boy, guys. Look at that. Somebody, look at that. Look at what we got. We got a fucking Dread blueprint. Guys. Rarest thing in the world. What is that, like, what, 5,000 credits? I think I made the same fucking joke last year. I just can't help myself. The Stalker's Dread blueprint drops like bad Halloween candy. Like, you'll finish the mission and you'll dig through your bag. The Stalker's Dread blueprint is like going through your Halloween bag and finding like raisins. Right? I mean, come on. Like, who's excited for a Dread blueprint? It's not even a good vote. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no, my first stream is on YouTube. It is like choppy. My YouTube is just the same as my gamer tag, Dark Wizard Dude. There it is, in all of its glory. Username, it is the same. It should be literally the only video up. Because, why not? The quality of it isn't great, because like I said, it was literally... I'm just getting back into streaming. Like, I used to stream years and years ago. So yeah. Hopefully the quality of the stream is a lot better. I turned the bitrate up on the stream by a lot. Because I had it turned down for the first stream, because I didn't know if my internet connection would be able to handle it, and I didn't want the stream to be all laggy and choppy. And instead, the quality just drops to like potato very often whenever there's a lot going on in the movie. Which, this is Warframe, so like half the video is potato. But yeah, check that out. You can either put it on as a podcast if for some godforsaken reason my voice is what you want to listen to. May God help you if that's what it is. Or you can skip around and see if you can find a certain weapon you like. It is not time-stamped. It's just thrown out there into the wild. I have no clue how many days this will take, how many parts. I got through 11 weapons last time in 4 hours. That is 100% not going to be what it is. I mean, if I get to a weapon that I got to put 7 Forma on, and simulacrum testing, and like multiple failed runs of the exterminate, I could probably seriously spend all day on that. Like, I think there's about 250, give or take, unique weapons. Because just as a, fucking, what is this? 2 hours in, we're gonna give a refresher of the rules of this. I am not going to do weapons that have an obviously better counterpart. Like, I'm not going to do the Vectis and the Vectis Prime. That's dumb. But I will do side grades like the Kuva Heck and the Vacor Heck, considering they're 2 completely different guns, essentially. The Latron Prime and the Latron Wraith will both get builds, things like that. I am skipping over kit guns because I feel like once I have to add in building kit guns and researching the best things, and I might end up fucking up and having to, like, restart a kit gun from scratch, building an entirely new one for that part, like, and then I gotta do a secondary and a primary version of it. That just sucks. That's just an awful time, and once again, if this gets really popular, and there's enough people that want to watch me torture myself, I will do that. Because I know the internet's full of fucking sadists. Holy fuck, is it full of sadists that love to watch content creators torture themselves, and sure, I'll do it. I'm a slut for attention. Where was I? Rules, right. The next one is I will consider it complete when I can do a Steel Path Exterminate. That Steel Path Exterminate being Adaro Sedna. Because I feel like if I can do that, I probably could even switch this to being the Orcan Exterminate. That might have worked better. Maybe we'll do that instead, and it will be something else for me to fight. But I feel like if I can do the Adaro Sedna Exterminate, you can do most Steel Path content, and definitely any content in the game. I'm not going to delve into ribbons because one of the bigger goals for this is, like, for you to be able to enjoy, like, I want these to be builds that people can replicate. I want this to be, when I get to your favorite gun, I want this to be something that you can look at and be like, oh, I really like that gun. That gun looked really cool. And then you can replicate that build. You know, Ribbons kind of rob you of that opportunity because you can't get a Ribbon like that. You know, you can't get that, like, crit chance, crit damage, minus multi-shot Ribbon, you know, that I'm using because only one of it exists. And I realize I just described, like, an absolute dog shit Ribbon, but I don't give a fuck. Ribbons are terrible anyways. So yeah, also, the last rule is these are my arbitrary rules. I can change them when I like. Also, as a note, I think when I upload this to YouTube, I should probably put in the description that I'm doing weapon from here to here. That would probably be helpful. I'm very professional, can't you tell? Figuring this out literally on the fly midstream. All right. I don't think we need to swap anything out here. Kind of as talked about, it's already as good as it needs to be. Another thing, I probably won't stream this every single fucking day for the very simple yawn. For the very simple reason of I might have to stop just to get more material. I might have to like stop and spend an entire day in trade chat just getting platinum for more
worthy foes.
Forma.
Underestimate them at your peril.
Because honestly, I mean, I got 5,400 plat. Some of that's gonna have to be spent on Exilus adapters. I've spent too long doing Hydron. I expected that to literally melt everything in that room, but I'm an idiot. But yeah, there will definitely be points. Alright, I am going to cheat a tiny bit. Just strip some of this armor away so I can get this thing started. Once it gets started, it should work a decent bit better. Man, it's not. Man, it really isn't. Fuck. Alright. That's upsetting. Fuck. It's not even a damage problem, because once it ramps up, it'll be fine. I just am having trouble not running out of ammo. Let's try this. Yeah, that's gonna have to be what we try, and honestly, if we're really gonna push this, I'm gonna run carrier. And then primed ammo. Let's just do this. Cool. That should be like the best. That'll give me the best possible chance of doing this. It's easier. I should probably read this question out loud too, just for the sake of people watching a YouTube video later. It's got to be easier to get plat when you're in the end game, though, right? Yes and no, like, because it depends on how much plat you need. For my purposes of just needing, you know, 35 to get my next bundle. Once again, I'm going to like strip these guys' armor. I do consider, like, I don't think it's honestly easier or harder. It's probably easier in the sense of, like, I have access to more tools in my tool belt. So, like, I can probably farm out arcanes and relics a lot easier. However, let's take, like, a very simple, low-level way of getting plat. Which is going to be farming out the Corrupted Vault on Deimos. Now, for those of you who don't know, Corrupted Vault on Deimos is where you get like mods like Narrow-Minded and Heavy Caliber and Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude, Fleeting Expertise, all that good stuff. These are mods that are cornerstones to every build, and as long as this game is getting new players, there will be players who need those mods. As a result, farming those out is something any low-level player can do. You can equip, even equipping all 3 keys, or all 4 keys, I'm sorry, even equipping all the keys at once is doable for new players. You just get a Warframe like Rhino, and then boom, the health and shield key no longer matters. The Hobble key is just annoying, but it does not affect your Tenno. So if you have a Tenno, you can run around with that. Hobble key no longer matters. And then for the damage key, this is probably the only one that will affect players, and you can just decide not to use it, which will mean you aren't guaranteed to unlock the door, but 3 out of 4 isn't bad either. However, like, if you're like MR8 and you have killed a Lich and you're running around with like the Brahma, I still don't think that's a good thing. But like, if you're MR8 and you are running around with the Brahma or something insane for your MR, you shouldn't have to worry. So as a low-level player, it's pretty easy to farm these things out, and you can sell them for about 20 plat each. It's not that they're hard to get, it's just that they're tedious, and most players would rather spend the plat than go and actually get them themselves. Once upon a time, I have been on both sides of this. So at MR8, we have a way to get like 20 plat pretty easily, enough for like your slots and your basic shit. With any new content update, also comes new platinum opportunities, like the new Angels of the Zeramin stuff. Right now, Emergence Dissipate sells for quite a lot. Even by itself, it's selling for like, I think 30 or 40 platinum for one Emergence Dissipate. It is also something, this price will drop drastically, by the way. So I expect in the future they may sell for like 10. But it is also like you can, these things at max cost 10,000 standing. And even as like a low level player, who's again at least MR8, because you need to be MR8 to have beaten the War Within. But at that low, I think you need to, actually. You might not need to. I don't remember. But regardless, you can spend your 10,000 standing a day to buy a single Emergence Dissipate, sell it real quick, return a quick profit. Same thing goes for like ribbons. You can do your sortie and you get a veiled ribbon. You can turn that around and sell it for 20 to 50 platinum, depending on what kind of ribbon it is. And these are all like low-level things, and also the same type of things I might do if I need some short amount of plat. The only difference between me and a low-level, low MR player with lower gear is I can probably do it faster. I have the knowledge to do it more efficiently, and things like that. You know, like it's kind of splitting hairs. And I know I've spent a long time answering this question, but the gist of it is like, yes, it will be easier as an in-game player for me to get that kind of stuff, but it's not like I have access to things lower level players don't. You know, I have access and would probably use the same methods for a quick plat drop as all other players. To be completely honest, this 5,000 plat comes from me buying prime accesses because I have a lot more time than I have money. Or, I'm sorry, other way around. I have a lot more money than I have time, or at least I used to. So it would just make more sense for me to buy it. We're gonna get rid of Mania or Angst this way because I just know for a fact I can't kill her with a gun. Cool. Yeah, and then like while we're talking about like ways to make plat, a very good way is literally just sitting there farming out the rarest part of like whatever the most common prime is. I do not remember what Garuda's rare part is, but on day one of that shit being out, if you manage to score the rarest part, that's easily 500 plat. Like, that's not a joke. Easily you could sell the rare part, depending on the frame, of course. If it's like Garuda, I think for a rare part we sell like for 300 plat. But that's the thing, is like one part, 300 plat. And there's so many groups looking for squads for that kind of shit that like you can find a squad and you can farm out a whole set of a prime day one very easily. Because it's what everyone's trying to do. It's very easy to get a group together to do it. Just just another like good way of making plat if you're, say, not ribbon inclined. Because of course, like there is ribbons, but ribbons are essentially scratcher tickets that you don't even get the payout for if you win. You have to find some sap to buy them before you get paid. All right, the test, by the way, with the Exultra is coming to a close. We only got a handful of enemies left to kill, and it worked great. It was a rough start, you know. Ammo is definitely an issue with this gun. It's gonna heavily affect its quality of life rating. Because I mean, I've had to max level a mod, and I probably didn't have to. I did that mostly because fuck it, why not? But it's a bitch to get started. It does not have the damage to get started.
Another successful mission. Find extraction.
So yeah, it's quality of life. It's probably not going to get a good grade. I'm not going to lie. The Exultra is not what it used to be, and because I am looking at these from the lens of like, can it do steel path? Can it do high-end content?
So you conquer yourself.
That is going to heavily affect it. If this was like just the context of the star chart, this thing would be amazing. But for the context of like how I'm ranking these, any good I don't think I actually have an Atomos build. The Atomos is a good gun. This is probably the start of a build I never finished. Yep. I'm just gonna tell him, nah, sorry. So, Exultra, let's go through it. Quality of life, I'm gonna give it a C. The ammo consumption on it's a little insane, and it pretty much locks you into needing to use an ammo mutation at higher levels, which just hurts it, you know. I mean, even Star Chart, you might need to like use vigilante supplies, which means you can't use, because this is a projectile-based weapon. That means you won't be able to use terminal velocity, so that is unfortunate. Other than that, it reloads fine. It does, I should have mentioned, it does have a passive of reloads are faster while sprinting. I don't know how much faster, and I do not know 100% how this actually like behaves. Like, I don't know if you have faster sprint speed, it reloads even faster. Yeah. But it is like a thing the gun does, and I should mention it. So yeah. Crowd control damage, it's not very good. I'm gonna give it a B. It's I technically should kick this person out, because I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that though. Kick him out of chat. But yeah, crowd control, it's not great, honestly. It's not amazing. I'm gonna give it a B. Even though it is an AoE weapon, and on lower levels it'll clean through hallways no problem, at higher levels it might as well be single target. That is effectively how I used it. It killed fodder peon enemies fine, but for like actual high-end content, it might as well be a single target weapon. That being said, as a single target weapon, I'm gonna give it a B. It's fine. Honestly, maybe even a C. It's just, it takes a minute to get there. It takes a minute. And as far as fun goes, I'm gonna give it again. I'm gonna give it a C. For me personally, weapons that struggle are not fun, even if the gimmick is fun. if the weapon struggles, it's not fun to use a struggling weapon. Simple as that. All around, overall, I don't... I think the Exceltra might get a C. I don't know. It's either a C or a B. It's just... My gut says C. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to give it a C. It used to be an amazing weapon. Now, if you take it above, like, high-end content... Also, the fact that it required a 7 form of build. Like, fuck. There's something to say there. That's a... Honestly, yeah, that is a... Just... It's getting a C. If you're going to use this in Star Chart, by all means, but for anything above Swordy, it gets a C. Next, the ALAC. Aolek? Aloak? Aloha? I don't know how you pronounce this fucking gun's name. This will be the last gun for the stream, too. After this, I gotta get food in me and sleep. But, I just recently did this build. It is an okay weapon. This is the build. There's nothing special here. There's nothing special going on here. It's just a gun. I really should try to find a way to cram on heat damage, but I really just couldn't. Its base damage is so low that you do need serration. At least, like, it didn't feel great. We're going to take it to the simulacrum real quick. And just do some simple shooty face testing. To kind of get a feel for it. The A-Lock is the newest, one of the newer weapons, only comes from the new Zeraman stuff. And I'm not going to lie, when I think about how hard it is to get a weapon, that does influence how I feel about it. Like, the A-Lock being as far into the game as it is, you having to complete, like, all the story quests. You need to be caught up on the story current, and then it only drops from the highest bounty as a rare reward. This should be a very good weapon, and it's just okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just okay. And, like, it's clearing. These are level 100 enemies. Like, these aren't steel path. It's doing fine, you know. I mean, you can't... Pretty good. It has a secondary fire mode that is an explosion. The explosion is honestly just kind of... It's honest... It's better than the Tenet Tetras. Like, when I was talking about how the Tenet Tetra, I wish you could, like, use the explosion to deal with a small crowd and then use the primary fire to deal with, like, hard targets. This does a very good job of it, right? If you want that playstyle of, like, nuke a small, or, well, yeah, blow up a small crowd and then single target down the survivors, this is a good gun for that playstyle. Let's see. I'm going to bump this up to, like, an insane level 190. And then I'm going to try this with heat damage. I think as far as heat damage goes, 99% status is good enough. We're going to put on 54%, or we're going to put on the 90% heat mod. See how this goes. Come on, there we go. You can see it does solid, respectful damage, you know. with it having so many statuses already on it too, like if you get a wide host of statuses on it, you can definitely shoot through these enemies. Get that heat proc in there, it's all good to go. It does good. Now let's try it with Serration. Oh, by the way, this is a good example of a gun that has like radiation. We talked about this earlier. This gun does have radiation base. Just the base stats of it, mostly IPS with a tiny amount of radiation. Makes it like just a good example of like the radiation isn't hurting here. It's whatever to have it. If it procs, it's just more damage for galvanized aptitude. Otherwise, it's not in the way. It's not like you're not going to snuff your nose up of it on it. Because radiation damage-wise isn't a terrible thing. However, I will say a lot of the infested units that you give a shit about are resistant to radiation. That being said, the infested are weak overall, so, you know, there's that. Spawn these guys in. I will say, like, fire and sound of this weapon, it definitely does hit a sweet spot of, like, it sounds cool. I mean, just listen to that. Like, I don't know. That's a cool sound. It's also got like a satisfying fire rate too. This is, I think, any slower, and it would like not be very fun. But any faster, and like the sound might not sound right, you know. I don't know. Like, with the damage for this gun? Because that definitely, like... Whoops. Alright, because it'll bother me once again. I want to do it the most efficiently. I think it's splitting hairs, is what it is. We're going to kill these butchers first, just because it helps ramp up the damage on the weapon. It's probably taking me, on average, more shots, actually, to kill. But I don't think it's by a lot. Like, I think maybe I'm missing more shots because they flail around in the heat proc animation. Nope. Looked over to check chat. In a situation like this where it's like so close to call, what I'm gonna say is, even if at current level Serration is better, I think Hellfire scales better. So if you, for some godforsaken reason, wish to do longer runs, like just long endurance runs, Hellfire's probably going to scale better than Serration. With that being said, I do want to at least give a quick cursory test of the full auto, or of the that thing, secondary. I think the secondary definitely does more. Well, alright, here's where we get interesting. Because of galvanized aptitude. And I've unfortunately already formatted for this slot, so it's kind of hard to fix this, although I probably can. Because of how galvanized aptitude works, with the key words down here being direct damage per status, that means that a lot of this secondary fire's damage is being wasted, because it's indirect damage, it's not getting the effect of galvanized aptitude. So what I'm going to do real heckin' quick is make one more geared towards the secondary firing mode. That is actually going to involve one more thing. Is this a... Does this have a guaranteed impact proc? I don't think it's guaranteed. I think it's a very high chance, but I do not think it's guaranteed. The reason I say that is because if it was guaranteed, I would always be getting at least 2. Or no, that's not right. Never mind. Maybe it is guaranteed, but it's only guaranteed on direct in contact. The reason that matters is because of internal bleeding. There are a very, very, very tiny amount of weapons where the actual AoE has guaranteed impact procs, which makes internal bleeding hilariously effective on them. Unfortunately, this is not one of them, so we're going to stick to... Oops. We're going to stick to tried and true hunter munitions. Alright, next comes up the normal crit mods that we give a shit about. Point strike, crit delay, or not crit delay, vigilante. I knew that. Now, because we're not building this for the status, we don't give a shit about the status, we're building this for the secondary attack. We are going to throw in infected clip. What is my status? 33%. Now, I need to find a way to set the... come on now. If I polarize this, because I don't want to... My preference, honestly, is this build over here. And I think what we're going to test with, though, just to keep this interesting and put together maybe some fun builds. I think a little bit of status will still do wonders. A little bit of status will still do wonders. Where is my Hellfire? There it is. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Cool. This brings us up to 52% crit chance. That's not terrible. 52% status. Again, because of how status works on explosives, that's a pretty nice number to have. And a respectable 1100, almost 1200 damage. Oh, it just fucking obliterated all those. How are things looking? Well, the slash procs, unfortunately, aren't kicking in as much as I would hope. Honestly, I don't think that's actually an effective build. I really don't. We don't have the stats for the damage fall off, unfortunately, but it's gotta be harsh. Like, I mean, considering even like heavy gunners standing right next to each other, one of them would just get their health fucking chunked, and the other one just would not give a shit. And honestly, without the stats for the secondary fire, I can't really super explain what's going on, but it does feel like the explosion itself does not do a lot of damage, or it has a very aggressive damage fall off compared to what you think it should be. Either way, if for some reason, I will maintain that if you think for some reason you want to go with the secondary fire and you want to make that your primary tool of destruction, this. I myself am going to stick to this build. And I think that, honestly, this will probably do a decent job of either priming targets to be shot at by the primary fire, or dispatching just trash mobs with the secondary.
Ordis has been getting tired of waiting. Waiting patient.
Alright. Let's go take one more trip to the simulacrum to Hydron. Whoop, not in Steel Path. Oh, according to my thermostat, it is getting hot, and according to my throat, I need some moisture in it. I need to lubricate. Can I get any weirder? Can I make that weirder? Do you want me to pour some moisture down my throat to lubricate? I'm gonna stop.
We are readying reinforcements. Keep fighting, Tenno.
I stole a cookie. Or not stole, because I baked them. But, it's good. Cookie's good. It's a little burnt, but you know. You twat, why'd you jump down there? Why? You're MR23, you should know better. Whatever. A little bit of lag. This is such a low level too that like secondary fire cleans house. Alright, what is your guys' favorite pastry? For the nobody that will watch this on YouTube, and the one person watching me stream, you're a true bro. Favorite pastry? Mine's pies. I really like pie. My favorite pie, probably key lime or lemon meringue. I like the tanginess that comes with like citrusy pies. Although finding a good lemon meringue and key lime pie is a pain in the ass. Cause like Either A, you get like just cheap Walmart shit, that's like fine. Or like, it's super expensive. Cookies. Butterscotch cookies. I don't think I've had... I've had butterscotch candies. I don't think I've had a butterscotch cookie. Oh, that was satisfying, all those numbers. Yeah, I like butterscotch candies. I don't like butterscotch pudding. My favorite cookie is Thin Mints. Like, I just fucking love a Thin Mint. Thin Mints frozen, like sitting in the freezer all day. Oh, man. Nothing better. Sugar cookies, I hate sugar cookies. I like cookies overall, I guess I would say. But I hate sugar cookies. Just disgusting. So bland. They remind me of like shitty elementary and middle school parties where like those were like the treat dessert thing was like just crap holiday themed sugar cookies from Walmart. I don't like sugar cookies. I'm a weirdo. I really like oatmeal raisin cookies too. Like they might be up there as one of my favorite cookies. Definitely like them better than chocolate chip. Message from coronavirus. He wants to know if he can decorate the dojo. Maybe. Yeah, let's see other fun cookies. Oh, white chocolate and macadamia nut cookies. I really like those. Those are pretty good. The ones they have at Subway. I don't know how popular of a flavor that is, but I know it's at Subway. How about chocolate chip cookies? That's a universally favorite cookie. I will never turn my nose up to a chocolate chip cookie. I know I've been talking too long because taking that drink like hurt. I will never turn my nose up to a chocolate chip cookie, but like, they aren't my go-to to buy cookie, you know? I would, like, if I'm in the cookie aisle, I might buy like some Oreos, or oatmeal raisin. However, I talked about how I made cookies. The cookies I made were chocolate chip. You know, I bought like the Pillsbury Doughboy cookies, and I bought the chocolate chip kind. It's like, yeah, you can't go wrong with chocolate chip. Everyone likes chocolate chip, you know? We're gonna ignore my terrible acting. Fucking die! Yeah. I'd agree. Universally, everyone likes chocolate chip. That second sip wasn't as harsh. I am drinking Schnucks brand tangerine flavored sparkling water. Essentially LaCroix. Generic brand LaCroix. Why am I drinking that? Trying to stay away from sugary drinks. No particular reason other than mildly taking better care of my terrible body. I say as I eat, you know, a chocolate chip cookie that is just absolutely smothered in icing and sprinkles. So, you know, small battles. It is almost the equivalent of ordering like a fucking Big Mac extra large value meal with like a fucking apple pie on the side, and then also ordering a Diet Coke because you want to be healthy. Trust me, I see the irony. My favorite food. That's a hard one. I don't think I have a favorite food. I really like maybe if we had to go to like a type of food I go back and crave often enough. Definitely a toss-up between Chinese and pastas. Yeah, definitely a toss-up between Chinese and pastas. And with Chinese specifically, I like Chinese with a lot of veggies, you know? I don't like getting Chinese and then it's just a giant plate of like meat and then fried rice. That doesn't appeal to me. I want the veggies too. I want like celery and carrots and onions and the little pieces of baby corn and the water chestnuts. All that's delicious. And Chinese places that only hand you a giant stack of meat and tell you to fuck off should be ashamed of themselves. Veggies are delicious. For me, it's gotta be baby back ribs. Yeah, I like baby back ribs. They fall in that category of I will never turn my nose up to them, but I don't know how often I would like order them. But definitely like a delicious choice. We are getting out of here because we are max level. Or not max, but when I leave, it'll be maxed. Pasta, I'm less picky about. I do like I like veggies in general. So a veggie-heavy pasta makes me happiest.
Time to evacuate.
But red sauce, butter sauces, white sauces, it's all delicious. I love pasta. Bow tie, angel hair, penne, rigatoni, lasagna. It's all good. Baby back ribs. I don't remember the last time I had baby back ribs. It's been a hot minute. Probably a couple of years. Probably a few years even. Yeah. A fun thing I did learn, the company I worked for not too long ago, probably November, December of last year, I worked for a company that creates like labels, and the company very recently, like I said, November last year, bought like these giant fucking printers, like brand new giant printers, like 50 feet long, were apparently capable of printing super duper fancy, like laser engraved labels. And I promise this all relates back to baby back ribs, or at least barbecue. But like it creates like these massive, like huge intricate labels. If you've ever gone to like any store, like especially Bed Bath & Beyond, and you see like the Candlelight brand or the Mast White Barn brand or the Better Home and Garden brand, like super duper fancy labels that have like the gold trim and the metallic colors into it. That's what these printers create, and the company I work for prints out a lot of those. Well, the engineers who came to install them were German, right? They flew in straight from Germany to help install and oversee the installation of this machine. And I guess as a treat, the company took them out, and like the company I work for paid for them to go out to eat, and the manager of the factory that I work for went with them, and these German guys said that their favorite place to eat every time they come to America, and all their colleagues do the same thing. They love to go to Longhorn Steakhouse or a Texas Roadhouse because things like ribs and steak and barbecue are super expensive over in Germany and in Europe in general, apparently, and you can get it for so fucking cheap comparatively in America. So, you know, finally America does something super cheap. You know, it may not be healthcare, it may not be basic living expenses, all right, but we have cheap steak and barbecue. So fuck you, rest of the world. I can't even finish that bit. All right, but yeah, no, it was like these two, like, I think it was like 3 German dudes actually, at least 2 of them, but like they were like, they said their favorite thing to do was they would go and they would get like Longhorn or Outback Steakhouse or Texas Roadhouse. They said I think they preferred Texas Roadhouse and Longhorn, which is funny that like they would come to America so often that they have a preference, you know? Like they flew over from Germany to America so many times that they developed a preference for which steak place is the best, which is just great to me. And then on top of that, they would also, I guess, they would buy a lot of like Nikes and Levi's, specifically Nikes and Levi's clothing, and that would be like what they gave out as like company birthday presents and company Christmas presents, and what they would give to like their family. Because once again, I guess that shit is super expensive over there comparatively. Which is like, that's like a really, like, to me, a really interesting thing about like the world and America's place in it. Is like, man, that's like culture really is our #1 export. Like these people from Germany came over, and the biggest thing they were most excited about was cheap steak and Levi's and Nikes. Like I love that. That's hilarious to me. It's, I don't know, I find that very funny. Both the image and the thought of it, and just like what that means on a like cultural level, and like, yeah, food for thought. I should probably talk about the gun. Nah. No, I'm not gonna lie, this gun is actually shooting through violence a lot better than I thought it would. Considering this gun is a status-heavy gun, but it made short work of violence. The secondary fire still leaves something to be desired, but it's not terrible. I really wish I could see the actual stats of it. That would be nice. And definitely does not care about this. Doesn't care. Don't care.
The enemy is broken. Well
Alright, we're
done.
getting out of here, though.
Now get to extraction.
Fuck. I fell. I do want to kill these guys just because it helps. Oh. kicked me out of my own party. I hate when it does that. Alright, cool. Helps me make sure my mic is still connected and working, that I can see my chat interface lighting up. This gun must be more fun subconsciously than I think it is, because I'm stopping to like shoot a bunch of shit along the way. The fuck? That was weird. I don't know how the fuck you graze somebody with that, but turns out you can. Cool.
Very good.
Might answer this dude's question real quick. To get help with the final confrontation, you need someone else who's on the final confrontation. Which sucks. Alright, though. Let's talk about the Aeolic. Aeolic? Alialihu? The Aloha? I don't know how you pronounce this gun. Can't think of any other ways to make fun of its name. We're moving on. It performed better than I thought. Like, it performed better than I thought. Quality of life. This gun's a pain in the ass to get. It is at current, you need to finish the game, and then you need to get lucky and have it drop. So that does hinder it, that does make it a lot, it makes it a lot less practical, What is the MR of this gun? I am curious. Let's see. MR10. Alright, that's reasonable. If you are MR10 and you get to the A-lock, probably pick it up. Let's see. But yeah, the reload isn't terrible. It's not good, it's not bad. It having innate punch through, very nice. That innate punch through really shines, really helps you kind of chew through a couple more enemies that you wouldn't be able to normally. And then like the secondary fire mode, I wish we had the stats for it so I could really see what's going on. We do not. I could probably look them up. Let's do that. Let's head to the wiki. Wiki. What does the wiki say? The wiki says it has a 21% crit chance, a 2.3 crit multiplier, 33% 33% status chance. So it mirrors the normal thing, although it has a 7-meter range and has a 90% damage reduction at the edges. That's a huge damage reduction. That's probably why during testing it was just not doing shit to the things near it. That is a huge and aggressive fall off. I really feel like that could be tweaked to maybe 60, but whatever. Yawn. So, moving on. The crowd damage. We just looked into it. Oh, I gotta give it a letter grade. Fuck. I honestly, I think I'm gonna give it a B, with the only thing holding it back from being an A being just how pain in the ass it is to get. because you also need the parts for it, and the parts drop. I even forget where the parts drop. It's either Void Armageddon or Void Cascade. So yeah, it's a huge pain in the ass to get. I would be amazed if any MR10 actually gets this. So if it was easier to get, I would give and if the secondary explosion was better, I would definitely give it an A on the quality of life. It only needs 4 Forma for this build, and I don't think the secondary only build is worth it. So yeah. Moving on from there, it's crowd damage. It's not great. Honestly, as far as crowd weapons go, I might give it a C. Yeah. The hyper aggressive damage fall off, and then the relatively low damage. The relatively low damage of its explosion compared to other heavy hitters in the category. Just it makes it not worth using. Like I made a whole build that was just trying to capitalize it, and I still didn't think it was worth it at higher end. So I'm gonna give it a C. Really only useful maybe for clearing out fodder and priming enemies for the single fire. That being said, the single fire mode, how it is versus single targets, pretty good. Weirdly enough, that explosion does a lot of damage to a single target. If you nail somebody in the head with that, and it is accurate enough to nail somebody into the head with it, you're going to do good. Like, it's going to chunk their health, maybe even one-shot them, which is really nice, to be able to just shoot something in the face with a big explosion and maybe one-shot it. It did surprisingly good versus the Acolyte, so single target damage, I'm gonna give it an A. I think an A. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. For the overall, like, just fucking funness of the weapon, it sounds great. The weapon sounds great. It's got a very satisfying sound. The fire rate really helps it out too. It does enough damage per shot to feel meaty, you know, to feel like you're really because it sounds like you're firing like a fat, just like thunk 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 style like round. I don't know how else to describe it. That was probably really stupid and dumb sounding. But, like, you know what I mean, you know? It sounds like you're firing a big, beefy round, and it has the damage to back it up. So that's fun and cool. As well as, like, just... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. I found it funner to use than I thought I was going to. I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a B in the fun category. Yeah. Overall, I think a B. I think a B is fair. Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it a B. It's not a it's okay. That being said, another thing, because this is an evolving process. We're all learning together. I should probably mention this near the top. I will say, the way I kind of rate things, kind of go through a D through S scaling, with D being almost unusable. The weapon will need a Riven to even function, and even then it needs a good Riven, and there's no amount of Forma that can save the weapon. It is pure MR fodder. In fact, D might as well mean, damn, it's MR fodder. C means it just needs a lot of work, and even then, you're going to struggle, but it can do it. B, it's a good gun. B's really good all around. You don't need a lot of work. It's probably not the best thing, but it's still a great gun. A are like high-end, really nice guns that are just gonna clear maps. and are be good, fun times doing it. Kuva Brahma, Kuvazar, Tenet Arca Plasmor, those are the ones we've covered so far that have been solid A choices. And then S, here's the deal. I'm going to say an S gun is so good it breaks the game. An S tier gun is so good that there is no reason to use anything else in the game because an S tier gun is so good it breaks everything. I don't think we have any S tier guns in the game. I don't think there's a single gun in this game that is so good you might as well not use any other gun, period. Although the Arca Plasmor comes close. So, yeah. Like I said, Alok, Aloha, Alalalak, Ulak, Alak, Shulak, Balak. The Alok comes in at a B. That's our last weapon. It's a 3-hour stream. I streamed way longer than I meant to. I really did. This was supposed to be like a 2-hour thing. I only planned to go as far as the Tenet weapons, and then I just got caught up doing it. So yeah. I think I want to end this with some shout-outs. Just some in general shout-outs, because you know what? Why not? Everybody likes shout-outs. First shout-out, first shout-out to the only person watching this who stuck around, Sacred Gem. You get a shout-out. Because you're awesome. You're an awesome human being. Second shout out some other content creators. iWopley, he's a cool guy on YouTube, does a lot of Warframe news, and that's kind of it. He's no opinions, no bullshit, just cool YouTube news. YouTube videos about Warframe news. Cool guy. Brozyme, Tactical Potato, I like their builds, I like their attitudes. Tactical Potato's always on it with the news and short, bite-sized vids and some decent builds. Brozyme knows his shit. He's a cool dude. He's got the builds. Shout out to them. Shout out to DE, because you know DE made the game. Shout out to them. Shout out to your local homeless dude. Shout out to your local homeless dude. Go out, give him $5, because why not? Whatever he does with that $5 will probably be better than whatever corporation gets it anyways. Even if he goes out and buys heroin with it, that's probably still a better use than whatever like Amazon or Walmart will do with it. So shout out to your local homeless dude. Shout out to dogs, because dogs are awesome. Shout out to shout outs? No, that's dumb. Alright. That's enough of that stupidity. I'll be back tomorrow, guys. See ya.